Hey, woman girl, what do you have there? Do you think you can land on that box again? Hey folks, it's Mangirl. I have finally succeeded. After many years of hard work, I have managed to get the wife into drones. Now I know it's a Mavic Mini and it's not the typical FPV drone that I fly and that you fly, but you know what? It's still a drone. She had no experience with anything remote control or any kind of drones, yet as you can see from the video, she did an amazing job and all it took was a quick lesson from myself. I think that shows you how far these DJI drones have come, that anyone new to the hobby can really pick them up and with a little tiny bit of time can learn to fly them amazingly. The video you saw at the very beginning was her having less than half an hour of stick time. What I want to do now is I want to use the 3D printer to print some organizational items for the Mavic Mini Fly More combo and really help with the day-to-day usability of the drone. The first item we want to print is this Mavic Mini joystick cover. The way the Fly More case works, it requires you to remove these joysticks, and every single time you remove them and install them, it takes you a couple of minutes to do that. So just an extra step that really is not necessary, and this gimbal protector actually resolves that issue. Now the one thing to bear in mind though is this design does have a little bit of a shortcoming, and that shortcoming is the fact that he has embedded this brim into the design. And this is typically not how I would print it, because you will need to have a support underneath this whole section, which makes no sense. I've already gone ahead and remixed the design to remove this brim, and I'll show you the way to print this. All these links are going to be in the video description, so you can get the links to Thingiverse, to Amazon if you want to get the same 3D printing filament that I use. Those are all in the video description, so make sure you check that out. Once you've got the remix design imported into your slicing software, you want to make sure you print this in TPU. And TPU is a soft and squishable material, so it's not going to damage your controller or scratch it. And we have a video on how to print TPU on the Ender 3, so that's linked also in the video description. Once you've done the importing, you want to rearrange this. So we want to go over here, I'm going to go over here and then say select face to align. And we want to have this printing in this format. So we can see the little bit of space down here. So we do want to go into our settings and say generate support, touching the build plate. So now when we slice this, we'll see that the support is only in this one area. So just down here. And this will print beautifully, and it only takes an hour and 17 minutes. The next thing you want to print are these organizers, and these allow you to organize your cables, your charger, all the various things that you take with you on a day-to-day basis in a really easy and organized way. So if you take a look at this, You can see that we have the charger, the screwdriver, we have our gimbals, propellers. All these pieces are stored nicely and neatly in this container. And this is really cool. You can actually tuck away the USB. There's also a version 2 which has a lid. We did not use that. Don't really see the point of the lids. But if you use more this container for SD cards and so forth, you can do it this way. The trick with this design is you have to select, first of all, which design do you want? Do you want the version 1, which is this guy here? Or do you want the version 2, which is the one with the lids? That's the first decision. The next decision you need to make is, do you have a US charger or do you have a European charger? And the final decision you gotta make is, what is the length of your charger? Is it 62 millimeters or is it 68 millimeters? So you'll go ahead and measure the length of your charger, and then you'll select the appropriate size. Once you've selected the appropriate size, you'll bring it into your slicing software and you can print it exactly like this. You don't require any support, and you can print them in regular PLA. So just like this, it'll print perfectly fine. So we'll slice. 4 hours and 17 minutes to print this. And once you're done printing the bottom piece, you can print the lid, and you want to print the lid with top facing down. So we'll do the same idea here. So you want to print it just like this. And again, we'll print this without any support. PLA, slice, 28 minutes. So roughly we'll say 5 hours to print the box. And then the final piece is this container. Now this depends on if you chose the V1 or the V2. This is the V1, so you can see it's just an empty box. The only problem is that the box is a little bit too tall for the Fly More combo, at least for my case. So what we want to do is we want to resize this. So if we come here, we can see that it's sized right now to 101, 27, 57. So what we're going to do, we want to make the Z a little bit, the Y. Let me make the Y a little bit smaller. So uniform scaling off. And I'm just going to make this 90%. So you see how it became a little bit shorter. And you can print it exactly like this. No support, PLA. So let's go slice. So 2 hours and 23 minutes. And you'll have to play with this 90%. 90% seems to work for my case. You may have to go a little bigger, a little bit smaller. You have to play with this a little bit, unfortunately, but 90% is a good place to start. Now that we have all of our parts printed, let's go ahead and organize the container. That was like the worst opening I've ever seen.